Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. Astrology is something that I love and have a passion for. So, thank you for coming in tonight. We are about to enter the dawn of a new era. We have Pluto going into Aquarius for the next 19 years. This will be the fourth and final time that it has passed over across into Aquarius. So it's the last time it will do this in our lifetime, and it will be here in Aquarius for the next 19 years. So I thought tonight, I have been doing an Aquarius series, Pluto and Aquarius series. I haven't finished that, but I thought maybe I'll do the transits with you guys. I am going to start with explaining Pluto once again. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the different wounds that Chiron and Pluto play so that you kind of get a sense, yeah, of the difference between them. We can see tomorrow on the 19th, Pluto is right here. He is going into Aquarius energy. Now, I've worked with Pluto a long time. I mean, we all have, but I have consciously worked with him for a long time. Um, and yeah, he can be scary and he plays on your fears and obsessions. But what he brings you is power, and you get a sense of freedom and independence when you step into that power. So I don't want people to be afraid of Pluto. Um, if fears come up, it's because it's you redefining, identifying, understanding yourself better, and seeing where that power is in your life. Yeah. Um, when he's a natal Pluto, it's about a lot of the wounds. Uh, it's very different. So when it's a natal Pluto, which means wherever Pluto sits in your natal, you're working lifetimes on those, right? Um, yeah, and you're talking about past lives and future lives and your present lives, right? If you feel powerful right now and you're a Capricorn, if you are doing what you've always wanted to do and like step into that power and know that you're the boss of your life and know that you are have restructured and seen, like she said, all the toxic people go, then you have worked well with Pluto. Um, Pluto had a lot to teach a lot. Pluto has a lot to teach everybody, and he taught us a lot since 2008 when he entered into Capricorn. But see, he's going to work very differently because in Capricorn it was about the structures and the systems and the hierarchy and the elite and the separation of that and the authority and who's the boss and blah blah blah. And we saw all that, right? I'm excited because we're finished. We're finished, right? And again, energy doesn't stop or start, so we're at the end, right? Tomorrow it's going into Aquarius. We've already kind of seen what it did in 0 degrees Aquarius, but I wanted to go through the transit so that everybody kind of understands what may be coming up for them in that area. So, you can look on your charts in your natal chart and look where Aquarius is. So, wherever Aquarius is, whatever house that is for you, that's what you need to pay attention to in this transit that I'm about to do, right? It doesn't mean look for the planet Pluto because you're going to have a planet Pluto. You're going to have this planet in your natal chart. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in Aquarius. So where you just look on your chart, and if your Aquarius sign is house is like the eighth house, then that's where Pluto is going to be for the next 19 years. If your Aquarius house is the fifth house, then that's where Pluto is going to be for the next 19 years. Does all that make sense? If it's, if you're a second, if Aquarius is your second house, and that's where it's going to be for 19 years, and that's what you'll be working on. That's what we'll be transiting. Yeah, and it's probably already started, and you got some hints of it. So yours is in the fourth. So Lori says Pluto, her Aquarius is in the fourth house, which means Pluto will be in her fourth house for the next 19 years, right? Um, mm, yeah, and so you'll want to listen to the fourth house one for your transit. Now, wherever it is natally, that's different. The astrology chart, is that what you're looking for? I think you could go to astro astroseek.com to get your natal. You can get a free natal chart. Um, and then when you look at, you'll have to put in your birth date, your birth time, and your birth location. And when you look at that, look at the chart, look for this sign right here. This is Aquarius sign right here. Wherever that is, that house is where Pluto will be for the next 19 years. Okay. I apologize. Sometimes I forget that there are new people that don't know a lot about astrology, but that want to learn astrology or want to see or kind of, and us astrologers sometimes forget that we need to like give the very basic, right? So that's why I'm saying it this way. You'll want to look to see where your Aquarius house is, and that is where Pluto will be what we call transiting. It will be moving through that house for the next 19 years. Okay. And that gives us astrologers, gives you a, a person, anybody, sort of an idea of what's going to be coming up for you, a way that you can get through this, right? So, like Tammy said, which said Aqua is in my fourth. That means right here, her fourth house will be Aqua. It'll have this sign down here, okay, or wherever Aqua, wherever yeah, down here. Sorry, it'll be down here. It'll have this sign down here if Aqua is in your fourth house, right? Wherever that is where Pluto is transiting right now, right? It'll be to 0 degrees. So for the next 19 years, she will have Pluto transiting into this house. That gives us clues as to what's going to be coming up. That gives us a way to help you through these things that come through. Gives you an understanding of how to get by with that. Because the fourth house is about the internal or the way that you feel emotionally secure and safe and home, right? So for the next 19 years, that's what will be coming up. And you guys have already kind of got a glimpse of that. So yeah. I don't so your third house, Lori, was about restructuring your communication. Both of you, both Lori and Tammy. When it was in Capricorn, it was about restructuring the way that you process things, the way that you think, the way that you understand and believe, or the way that you thought you did through this whole 16 years, and then it changed for you, right? Yeah, it's your home, roots, and family. It's your most inner self, right? It's the space that you don't really show anybody. You could show a person or two, but it's the space and the essence of who you are in this life, right? Of who you are, of what you believe, of of your what makes you emotionally secure. What is that? So what do you believe makes you most emotionally secure and feel safe, right? um that's what you guys will be working on in the next 19 years. So things will come up because that's the way Pluto works. Pluto works as he will show you, you'll begin to see things that are outdated, right? I thought I believed that, but that's no longer who I am. I used to attract that type. I'm not attracting that. I have dealt with lies. I've dealt with deceit. I feel this way because maybe my family believed this, but I'm learning like it's bigger than that, or it's more than that, or it's different than that, right? And that's what you'll be like. You'll be rediscovering, or you'll be, no, not rediscovering, you'll be discovering internally as Pluto shows you outside what makes you emotionally secure, right? Right. So not happy. Happy is fifth house, right? Joy, happiness, fifth house. We're talking about secure. And we're not talking about physically secure. We're talking about emotionally secure. What brings out those things? Intimacy, right? That's what you'll be working on. And um you can get like, why do I feel the way, why do I believe the way that I believe? Why do I feel that way when somebody does this? Right? It's not so to work that internal, you're going to be looking to how people view you, right? And so Pluto is going to bring up where you will have some moments throughout this 19 years of like, what? That's not who I am, because you may be portraying something so that you could feel emotionally secure. But that's like an old, outdated way of doing it. I'm trying to bring up the whole Pluto thing. That's an old, outdated way that you're used to doing it, and so you will be working on what your true, authentic self is to be secure, to feel emotionally secure. Sorry, this is your an inner emotional essence of you. Does that make sense? No, I think it's just going to show you because it's not, remember, it's not Capricorn. It's not about structures, right? It's about understanding more of yourself. Does that make sense? Like Aquarius is like eccentric, different, not the same. So you may see parts of you in these next 19 years. You may discover parts of you. Pluto will bring that out where you discover, and he'll bring that out by bringing people and situations to you that will bring out, I, I didn't realize that this is what was triggering me. I didn't realize that I believed this way. I didn't realize, and you'll discover how to incorporate that, right? Because you will see that people see you in a different way, or have a belief system. They think that you believe that and you don't. You're like, no, that's not who I am, right? That's the Pluto in the fourth house. You're looking to the 10th house of how people see you. And to give you clues, it's Aquarius, so it's going to have to be, you'll find parts of you that you didn't realize were that unique, that different, not the way everybody else does it, but can still bring it together. It's just like I've told you guys, working in groups, being with people, building on something, and still being able to keep your own belief system, your own emotional stability. That's what will be happening for you guys, right? So let's talk about the Pluto wound real quick. Um, the Pluto wound is different than the Chiron wound. The Chiron wound is a wound that does not heal completely. Okay. I'm not saying there isn't any healing, but it doesn't heal completely, right? And the Chiron wound is like more of a physical wound, where the Pluto wound is a psychological wound. It's in your psyche, right? And the way that you can kind of tell the difference from the Pluto wound to the Chiron wound is that when you feel this wound, the psyche wound, you'll you'll find that once you're healing this wound, once you're working with this wound, once you're understanding this wound, you don't have like an immediate reaction of empathy or sympathy to help others, right? Where a Chiron wound is like, oh, now that I know this, I want to help others not do this, right? Or I want to help others through this. The 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 Pluto wound is very different. It doesn't act like that. It doesn't mean that eventually you can get to that where you want to help people because of what you've been through. It means that immediately that won't be your reaction. Where a Chiron rune, immediately you're going to want to like help, right? So that's the little bit of the difference. Yeah. With the Pluto wound, it's almost like with this wound, it brings um anxiety, aggression, anger. That's the Pluto wound. It's almost like I feel attacked and I gotta go, right? I feel attacked and I need to defend, or I need to attack, or I need to have some aggression. I'm angered about it. That's the Pluto wound, right? I did a video explaining both wounds, but I just wanted to kind of go over the Pluto wound. So first of all, understand that Pluto is going to act very differently than he is in Aquarius than in Capricorn. Again, Capricorn was about the structure, the systems, the hierarchy. We are moving into a sign that is not about that. It's about togetherness, groups working together, having your own anonymity. Technology is going to be boosted. It's going to be very strange for the next 20 years. It's not going to look like anything that we've ever seen. Um, but because Saturn and Uranus are involved too, because Aquarius has elements of both, there could be times where you're tested, you're working very hard about something, but also there's freedom. And I'm not saying those are the focus, but because Saturn and Uranus are rulers of Aquarius, we're going to get essences of those. Um, we're going like freedom, revolution, stuff like that. That's Uranus, right? That electricity. I can see where we go free electricity. I can see where we finally do that. Just because that's Uranus and it's shock and awe, and we never see it coming. Because I could say that now and everybody's like, yeah, right, whenever. Like, that's never going to happen, but we never know. Like, I could see that possibly happening. Stuff like that. And Saturn, this is where I see where groups come together, and Saturn is like making we the people the authority, right? We the people, not the structures, not Capricorn, not the elite, not the higher ups, not the authority, boss, blah, blah, blah. It's different. It's going to be different. It's going to be like groups are known and people are coming together. The way that I can describe it is what happened in North Carolina in the Appalachian Mountains, right? Appalachian Mountains, where people on their own came together to help, right? But then they saw that groups were forming and it made more progress, right? And then we continue to do it, right? We're continuing to help, we're continuing to check in, we're continuing to see. And it didn't matter what your belief system was, right? They all came together, people came together. That's kind of the space that we're moving into. And that's going to be like on a societal level. If we see some sort of way, if we see at all, because we've been through Capricorn, if we see at all that there's almost like a system of not we the people trying to form, we're going to shut it down. Like that's kind of where we're going to be with that. But um yeah, like AI, all of that's going to come about. I mean, I have my Pluto series where I talk about Pluto in itself, but I just wanted to go over kind of how it was going to be. In Aquarius, it's going to be very different because people are starting to get scared of, oh my God, I just had that 16 years with Capricorn and it like destroyed me. What's going to happen in Aquarius? It's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be togetherness, expansion of what systems we decided to bring forth, right? It's just like the election, right? Like we knew we couldn't stay where we were. We had to do something different, something radical, something that nobody thought. And so in comes a president that we didn't think was going to come in, a lot of people, and he's already changing stuff. He's already like we the people, right? And as long as he personally and in the government continues to have that path, it will go forward. But if at any point it's not, then it's going to fall. I told you guys things were going to change in systems. I've said this for the last 6 to 8 months. Like if systems do not change and are not adaptable and are not beginning to focus on we the people, they've got to fall. They got to go away, right? He's I don't know if I'll be dinged for this, but like he's thinking. I mean, I'm hearing all over the place that the IRS is going to shut down, right? That they're going to shut down the IRS. I'm looking at all of these kinds of things that are happening. Where if he gets into the inauguration day, we're going to have a lot of bills signed. That's going to change a lot of things. We're drawing our line in the sand, and we're showing them the new path that will be followed. They don't get to be the GPS anymore. It's true. It's true. If we're not going in as a group, it's not going to happen. I can tell you that for Pluto and Aquarius. If it's not in a group, where I was telling you, if the system isn't for the people, it's got to go. Well, now that it's going to be in Aquarius, I can tell you, if it's not going as a group and it's not going as we the people, then it's not going to go. Okay. So let's talk about the transit um, in the first house. So if Aquarius is your first house, if it starts at your first house, right? It may, some of you, like I'm an Aquarius ascending. So Aquarius starts at 25 degrees for me. So that means a lot of my Aquarius is in this 12th house, and then it moves into the first house, right? So right now it's in my 12th house. So, but through this transit, it will be coming to my first house, right? So if Aquarius is in your first house, then Pluto will be transiting in your first house, right? Kid Rock has a song out called We the People. It is. I'm telling you. We're all feeling it. I like the hit song. I have to listen to it. I haven't heard it. So, what's going to be happening when Pluto enters the your first house is that this is all about your identity. This is all about how you self-identify, right? So, it's possible that some people will be going through an identity crisis during this time. Um, but what's going to be being asked, he swears a lot, probably, what's going to be asked is not only who am I, what am I identifying as in this world, but where am I going? What direction am I going in? What am I going to be doing? What do I want to do? What do I, and it's not just a conscious, it's like um a subconscious thing that's going to be directing you in the way to go, right? So there may be times where you're like, I don't know why I have to do this, but I have to do it this way because this is my belief system. But what will happen is that things will come up that you will um, sort of see. Yeah. So things and relationships will come up where you're like, I don't like that. That's not authentic. Because what you're trying to find is your authenticity in this. Okay. So as Pluto transit your first house, it's going to bring up situations, relationships, things that it's not a push and pull like that person's going to be taken away from me. It's almost like I don't agree with that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. That just is outdated. It's old school. I don't feel that way anymore. Like you'll find yourself doing that in these next 19 years as situations come up, as people and relationships come up, as things that you thought you wanted will come up. you'll say, I don't want that. That doesn't attract me anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't believe that way anymore. And then because it's subconscious, because it's leading you in a direction of your authenticity, because it's subconscious, you may have like this identity crisis. Why did I do that? Why did I let them go? Why did I quit that job? Why did I yell at that person? What is going on? Like you're gonna be fighting this thing, right? Sorting out what does and doesn't serve you going forward in a direction that you're wanting to go, that your consciousness, that your ego may not agree with. Understand? So, but it's an instinctive thing. It's an instinctive way that you're going to be heading in the direction, and you're going to be sort of, depending on you, the person, whoever it is, could be fighting it, right? Like I didn't mean to let that person go. I didn't. Why did I do that? Why did I quit that job? Why did I move to this area? Why did I like you're gonna have all of that because you're trying to get to your true authentic self. Some of you have never had the opportunity because of your life, because some of you are still in survival mode, where you never actually got to think about what you want and really build the life that you want. You've never gotten that opportunity, right? It's the same thing when people come to me for hypnosis. Some of them have never gotten to tell their stories. And there's a release and that's what it is it'll as you're releasing, you'll find all of a sudden you're moving in the direction that you've always wanted to go. And then you're identifying with the person and the type that you want to be in this life and build the life that you want. What you will further discover, because we're in Aquarius, is that it's going to be done in a these are clues. It should be done in a very unique way. It will not look like everyone else. The path won't even look like everyone else's path, right? And yeah, it's going to be a very unique way. And for some of you, it could be more sudden than you like because we have Uranus in there a little bit, right? We have the essence of Uranus and the essence of Saturn. And Pluto's got to play by those rules, right? He may be in Aquarius house and he may be dealing with past lives and whatever, but he's got to play by those rules. Okay? I'm just trying to get you the bigger or all of the spectrum of that. Just running in. Hello. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Yeah, it will be your path, right? Exactly. Exactly. So, but you'll instinctively know. It's more of an instinctively know than a conscious I'm going to do. Does that make sense? So, instinctively, you will, those things that you identified as before, you won't anymore. It'll just kind of work, you'll work your way through it. And that's what's going to be going on for you in the next 19 years. If it's going in your second house. So, if Aquarius is in your second house, then this is about how strong and how strong is my stability? How strong is my security? How strong is my self worth? And you'll begin to see all these patterns that put you in the place that you're at now, right? So, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but through time, through these next 19 years, you'll be working with that. You'll be working with, and again, Pluto likes to play on the fear. Pluto likes to play, on the obsession, but it's Aquarius. So you'll be shown things that you're like, that's why I'm doing that. That's why that happens. This is what, and you'll see that it's outdated. You'll get to know that it's outdated. Now, if you ignore it, Pluto wants you, his big thing that he is trying to teach you is your power in that specific house. Okay. So, second house, I am powerful of my self worth. I am powerful in my security. I am powerful with my stability. That's what he wants you to understand. I am resourceful. I just got through talking to someone. I was talking to Kathy earlier, and I said, I'm a person that's made nothing, and I came from a line actually that's made nothing, made something out of nothing that no longer scares me. And y'all know, if you've watched me, I've been working on my second house, not through Pluto, but through Saturn and Chiron. Different wounds, but same sort of things come up, right? And so I was telling her, I am at the place in my life where it doesn't matter. You can take it all away from me. It doesn't matter. I will build again because I've done it several times. Like that doesn't, I don't have a fear anymore. Right. And that's what you'll be discovering is, what is your sense of stability? What is your sense of security? What is your sense of your self-worth, right? Um, and you'll see old patterns and old belief systems that were like put upon you and that you begin to believe, and you'll see like that's old, that's outdated. Why am I even thinking that? I understand a new way. I've already been working on that for several years or decades or whatever, right? That's what do, what do I what you'll be asking yourself is, what do I need for these things to be possible, right? What is going to make me feel secure? What is going to make me feel safe? What is going to make me feel stable? What is going to make me feel worthy? Those are the questions you will be answering over the next 19 years. That makes sense? Then we're going to go into the third house. So when Pluto transits the third house, it's going to show you where the way that you process things, the way that you're thinking things, the way that you communicate could be outdated, could be no longer serving you, could be like, why am I doing that? I didn't, why am I thinking that way? That's such an old way of thinking. Why am I doing like that? Stuff is going to be coming up. So people, situations, and things are going to come in front of you as Pluto is trying to teach you. Fear just gets in the way of your path. It does. It does. So this is all about what you believe in your thinking process, or your way of thinking, and you're going to find that it's old. You're going to and people are going to come up and challenge that. Situations are going to come up and challenge that. So in the third house, it could be that, you know, a person comes to you and believes in a completely different way than you do, and there could be arguments about the way that your philosophy is compared to theirs. Yeah, it's your way. You're going to see that the way that you believe, the way that you understand, it's going to be challenged again because it's Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, right? So it could be challenged. Saturn is going to test, that essence is going to be, you're going to feel tested. You're going to feel like people are coming up against you. It's my belief system. It's the way that I feel. Why are the people around me having a problem with it, right? It's because Pluto is trying to get you to step into your power of understanding that you are the authority in this, that your way of thinking, your way of thinking is going to be challenged so that you understand, is that old thinking? Should I reconsider this? And why do I think that? Why is it this way? Why do I do things this way? Is it because that's what I was taught? Is it because I just believed what they said? Have I really researched for myself and understood? Right? It also could be Pluto in the third house could make you feel like at some point, because he's going to be challenging you, he's going to be messing with your fears, that your voice is gone, or that the way that you communicate is being hindered in some way, or that you're having a lot of stumbling blocks. This is going to go on throughout the entire, not the entire, but throughout the 19 years that Pluto's in there. It's because he's trying to help you see your power. Here's the thing. Pluto in the third house is you saying, I have a voice in this world I am no better and no worse than anybody else, but I do matter. And I have something to communicate and a way to process these things that I feel is valuable, and I want to do that. Until you can step in that space, he will be challenging you the whole time. That makes sense? So, Pluto in the fourth house, we've already discussed. It is about your internal. So, the fourth house itself is about your most inner self. It's about your roots, but your most inner self. It's the most private self. If you see, fourth house is at the bottom of the chart. That's your most inner self, right? So with Aquarius there, that's already different. But with Pluto going in there, that stuff is going to be challenged. Pluto is going to have things come up that makes you start to question what makes me emotionally secure. What is that? What makes me emotionally feel safe? What makes me feel like home? Those are the things that Pluto is going, and he'll do that. He's going to be bringing that out. He's going to be putting people in relationships in front of you. He is going to be, um, yeah, things in front of you. But because it's Aquarius, it's a very different way that you're going to come to it, and you're going to find each one of the houses. Wherever Aquarius is in your chart and Pluto's transiting, each one of these spots, each one of these spaces, each one of these areas of your life where Pluto is transiting, you're going to find help. You are not going to be alone. You are going to find that you do better in figuring this out with groups, understanding, making it bigger, knowing your power. Okay. That's the way out for everyone. Okay. If you are trying to do it, it's like me when I tell you guys, if you are trying to do it in the normal way, that's not it. Walk away from that. Get away from that. That's an old pattern. That is what you've been taught, and that is not going to work now. And it is not going to work for the next 19 years because we're trying to understand and we're growing our consciousness on a whole in society and individually. The consciousness is growing, right? So old patterns have to go. The way that we did things before have to go. It's not the same thing. We're not doing this anymore. We're not in Capricorn where it's got to be A, B, C, or D. We're going to be doing A, Z, Q, R, M, D, whatever. It's going to be, it needs to be outside the box and weird. It needs to be very, very strange. So that's a clue to everyone that whatever way that you think you should do it, if you're thinking, well, this has always been done this way, you know how people said, why reinvent the wheel? I'm telling you, in the next 19 years, you need to reinvent the wheel. Because why reinvent the wheel is keeping us at the same consciousness, and that's not what we're doing. We're expanding. It's going to be very different and very weird. Okay? So, what emotionally will help you feel? I can give you an example. There are going to be people that have, this is just an example. There are going to be people that have Pluto in the fourth house, and their emotional security, I know it's going to sound strange, but I'm trying to give you all the strangeness. Their emotional security, their emotional safety, the way that they feel most at home may be with an AI. It just may be. Like, I know that sounds strange, but they may feel just right with an AI because what happens is it's your most inner self. It maybe they were in a different dimension, another life. I don't know. Maybe they're used to AIs where they came from, right? So that's just an example of how strange it can be, how strange these next 19 years are going to be. And we're going to find ourselves like, wow, that's very different. If you're doing it very different, you're doing it right. Okay. So I'll move on to the fifth house. Pluto transiting. So if you have Aquarius in your fifth house in your natal chart, then Pluto will be transiting for the next 19 years. This is about your joy. So you will be questioning, and things will be brought in front of you: people, relationships, things, spaces, locations will be brought to you for the next 19 years until you step into your power about this. But this is about what brings you joy. What brings you joy? And it's about your creative expression. How do you express what you think in your mind? How are you going to make your home? What brings you happiness, right? That's why I was saying happiness is the fifth house. You're going to be questioning that. You know what? I thought that brought me happiness, but that isn't really what I want. That's what I thought I wanted because society told me that I should want that, right? Like society told me that I should want to go to college, go to university and then get a job and participate in society. But do I really want that, or is that what society has taught me, right? My happiness depends on my emotional safety and support, right? Like your fourth house. But what brings me happiness? What brings me joy? For some people, that's a lot of different things for different people, right? Pluto's going to be having you question that. Pluto's going to be bringing people and situations and relationships that are going to have you question that. Some of you that have been dating for a while may look up and say, you know what? I, I don't really want to date. I really do want a partner. And others of you that have been working towards a partner but been dating may say, I don't really want a partner. I just want to have a friend. I don't need to get married. I don't need to go to the seventh house. I just want to enjoy right now. Like things like that will be going on in your creative expression, right? What you're going to be questioning a lot of is your authenticity in relationships. So even the relationships that I have, if you're dating, like I'm going to give you a scenario, even the relationship you'll be thinking, like, even if the relationships that I have, because I'm dating, are they authentic? We're both lying. We're both playing the game. We're both blah, blah, blah. You may step back from that at some point and say, I don't want to necessarily marry, but I do want a meaningful relationships, ships. Maybe you want relationships. Maybe you just want to date, but each one of those dates, you want it to be authentic. You want those people to be real, right? Pluto in the fourth house. Wendy says Pluto fourth house here, and you are spot on. Thank you, Wendy. Like that could be going on for you, Pluto in the fifth, right? It's about how what I wanted to create, what I thought I wanted to create. I don't want to create now because that's not going to bring me the happiness that I want. That's going to bring my parents the happiness, or my church the happiness, or my job the happiness. It's not bringing me the happiness. It's not bringing me joy. That's all what you're going to be questioning and working through in your fifth house. If Aquarius is your fifth house, then that's where you'll be working through, right? Now, we'll move to Aquarius in the sixth house. So Aquarius in the sixth house, I'm sorry, Pluto in the sixth house. If Aquarius is your sixth house, then Pluto will be transiting for the next 19 years in your sixth house. This is all about your health, how it relates to your emotions. Are you doing right by yourself? Are you listening to your body? You're going to be questioning the body, that you're more than the body. Um, your everyday life. So work, do I have the right job? Is it too physical for me? Is it not physical enough for me? Am I taking care of myself? What I thought I was doing, it doesn't look right anymore. It looks outdated. It looks old. It looks like, think outdated for Aquarian. Aquarian does not like to do things outdated. We just don't do it, right? As soon as we're aware that it's outdated, it's gone. Okay. So That in all the houses, you'll be thinking, is that outdated? Is that wrong? Is that old? That's old. I'm not doing that. That's not serving me anymore. It's not like Capricorn who would want to hold on because they need a solid foundation to be able to move. That's Capricorn energy. It's Aquarius energy. Aquarius is like, nope, that's no long that's just hurting me. That's old. I'm not even doing that anymore. That's Aquarius energy. So that's what you'll be feeling. It's not like this tear away, somebody pulls it away, like in Capricorn, the structures are pulled away. It's Aquarius. It's lighter. It's um, authentic. Authenticity, right? It's authentic. It's not going to move and it's going to be forced to move. It's like you're naturally going to veer that way. You're naturally going to go that way, right? I have Saturn in my 11th house. My Pluto is in Virgo. What house is your Pluto in? So, um, and then you'll begin to question these things to make you aware of your power in creating your life around your everyday life. What you will discover, what things will come up, and when you step into your power is when you realize, am I being of service to myself? Am I being authentic for myself? That's the thing that's going to help you through that sixth house. Am I being of service to myself? Am I honoring myself? Am I doing the right things authentically for me? That's what's going to be questioned in the sixth house. That makes sense? Now, those that have a seventh house, if Aquarius is in your seventh house, if Aquarius starts your seventh house, no, if Aquarius is in your seventh house, some of you it won't start it, but if it's in your seventh house, Pluto will be transiting through your seventh house. So at some point, the way that you, let me just say this differently, the way that you relate to others in your life, whether they're passing by for a day or stay for the rest of your life, whether it's romantic, whether it's family, whether it's work, whether it's friendship, whatever partnership, whatever this is, whatever, whoever you relate to, right, is going to be questioned until, hey, Cindy, until you understand your power in this relationships, in these relationships. So if you are a person that is very dominating in relationships, you are going to understand the balance. So you will, and if you are a person that doesn't, or maybe you're really dominant, but you don't give much in the relationship, right? That's all going to come up. Lies, betrayal, abandonment, all of that's going to come up for you, seventh house Pluto transit. Okay. So, what Pluto is trying to help you understand is, or help you is to come to your power in the way that you understand your power in the way that you relate to others in your life, right? So, obviously you're going to relate to your family different than you're going to relate to your romantic partner, different than you're going to relate to your coworkers, different than you're going to relate to your business partners, right? But if there's an imbalance there, that's what's going to come up. So lies, betrayal, abandonment. Okay? That could all happen. So everybody was saying hi, Cindy. I was like, I'm here. Yay! Happy birthday, Cindy. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Cindy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. May you have the most wonderful year ever. Okay, so understand that that is going to be a theme until you step into your power. So if you're one that allows people to get one over on you in any of these relationships, that's going to happen even more so until you stand up. I love you too. All right, so Pluto in the eighth house, which means if Aquarius is in your eighth house in your natal chart, Pluto will be transiting for the next 19 years into your eighth house or in your eighth house, right? So what the things that are going to be coming up are shared resources, right? So, or contracts, or I mean, think of the house of Scorpio, trust issues, intimacy, any of that. So these patterns, these things will be coming up where you will take note and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where have I been? Why am I in these contracts with these people? Why are people doing this? Why am I giving all the intimacy and they are not? Why do I trust and they don't? Why is my trust being challenged? Why is my intimacy being challenged? What's going on? What traumas do I have that are going to be coming up so that you understand that you are powerful in this house. Okay? So, you're going to begin to see patterns. Oh, well, I seem to attract this type of person. Why? Every time I try to do a business, it stops at this point. Every time I go into a contract with somebody, it stops at this point. Those things are going to be really highlighted for you. Okay, understanding that maybe my second house is fine. I'm resourceful, but this isn't balanced. What's going on, right? You will also, when you step into your power as an eighth house, Pluto transit, discover from nowhere, if you've been doing the work and there's no fear, that there are going to be shared resources in abundance for you. There's going to be contracts for you. Like, once this is understood, once you understand your worthiness, see, eighth house, second house, once you understand your worthiness, once you understand that you come with something, you know, like, I don't know, back probably a year ago, I was hearing men say, "What are you bringing to the table?" Right? It's like, unless you understand your worthiness, it's like, dude, I'm bringing way more to the table than you can't even sit at my table. Get off my table, right? Like, when you understand that power, where you're like, what? You can't. What table are you talking about? The kids' table? Because I'm talking about a table that I sit at, right? When you understand that power, when you understand that you are the resourceful one, and then when you understand that, somebody will come to you that's just as powerful and will honor that in you, and you will have the abundance of those contracts, the abundance of that resourcefulness. You will have that in groups, remember. And then you will find that, like, dreams are going to come true because of that. Like, that eighth house is very powerful, but you have to go through some stuff to get through that, which you will. It's a transit. Okay. So let's go into the ninth house, right? So the philosophy, that's going to come up of what do I believe? Wait, I'm seeing glimpses of, like, let me be honest with you. I'm always honest with you, but this is what's coming up. I was taught through religion that the only way through to heaven is through Jesus Christ, right? I'm gonna piss some people off, but this is what I'm seeing. The only way to heaven or to God is through Jesus Christ, right? And then you go delving into this and you notice, wait a minute, if I've read the Bible and I'm studying the Bible and I'm seeing 56 books missing because I went and researched and looked, this isn't the whole truth. So if they're not telling me the truth, then why would I believe in the one phrase that they say? Like, stuff like that will be happening in the ninth house. If Aquarius is in your ninth house, then Pluto will be transiting and you will be going through this. This is going to be challenged. Your philosophy is going to be challenged. Your belief systems are going to be challenged. And it's not like it's almost like your innate sense of direction is going to be like, wait a minute, it's going to start questioning, right? And that's what's going to happen for people in the ninth house. Your belief systems are going to change. Okay. So people are going to come in front of you. I'm wondering if I could tell this story. Wendy, are you still here? When I was at Wendy's, I encountered someone who I didn't know was very religious. And I mean, very religious. Um, and I kept hearing from my higher self, just be you, stand in your power, just be you. And I said what I needed to say because they asked, I didn't just say it, they asked me my opinion. And so I gave it to them, right? That's the ninth house. I gave them my opinion. And soon enough, that person that I didn't know was very, very religious changed their opinion because I was speaking my truth. That's like the ninth house Pluto stuff. Like when you understand your power in your belief system through yourself, right? Your area is high in religion. Yeah, I was in New Mexico when I met these people though. I wasn't here. I was in New Mexico. So, but here's the thing, it doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter how religious you are. That's what I don't have that ninth. I don't have Pluto in my ninth house. I have the power of the ninth house, right? So I have the power of the ninth house. All I had to do was stick to. I didn't have to like try to stand for anything. I just understand. I am very like solid in my belief because I have done the work, right? When this transit ends for you, it will be like that. Like you've done the work, you did the research, you've done the studies, you learned the modalities, you did all of that, and that is my life's work. Y'all know that. That I can just say my belief. Now, again, I wasn't trying to change it. I didn't even know this person was that. I wasn't trying to change anything. I was told from my higher self, just stand in what you know, stand in who you are, and that's what I did. And that person sort of changed their perspective, changed their perception, right? Now, am I saying did I change them? No, I'm saying that because I was so solid in my belief and my understanding and my way of modalities and systems that it got them to think, right? So normally that person may attack somebody like me. Normally they would attack someone like me or try to make me believe what they believed, right? But they didn't feel the need to because I was so solid in my understanding, right? So that's what you'll be going through in this ninth house. But to do that, you're going to be challenged. You're going to start looking. You're going to start investigating. You're going to start learning modalities. You're going to see that there's a bigger thing going on. You're going to see that, wait a minute, they didn't tell me the truth about this stuff. Let me, for myself, go look. And you will. That's what you're going to be involved with this ninth house. Okay? That's a great thing for I love that. Um, Now, if it's in your 10th house, so if Aquarius is in your 10th house, then Pluto will be transiting your 10th house for the next 19 years, right? So you will be challenged. Pluto is going to challenge you. He's going to challenge all of us, but he's going to challenge you. Oh, and the thing I want to say about, because I'm going to bring Aquarius into that ninth house, uh, what I what I discovered, this is the Aquarius part. What I discovered in standing in myself was that I wasn't standing alone. There were others that believed what I believed and understood through their studies what I understood. And I found myself in a group. That is what could be happening with Aquarius in that ninth house. Okay, so let's move on to the 10th. The way that people see you is going to be challenged for the next 19 years. Now, the whole 19 years, no. But what you're going to find is that people are going to come in front of you. The 10th house is the highest, most outer, public part of you. Okay? So the 4th house is the most inner, your emotions, what you have inside, what nobody really sees. That's the 4th. This is the 10th. The most outer, the most public, the most thing that people see about you, right? That is all going to come into question. Your identity in the public. So your career, the way that people see you in your career, right? What do you do? What do you know? Who do you know? What have you learned? What's your authority? All that is 10th house, right? And people and situations, and you're going to find yourself in places that this is going to be questioned. Okay? The best way to get through this, because people are going to question you. You may find yourself in situations where you're like, I didn't freaking do anything, and they're like, I'm being called to the HR, or I'm being called to whatever. Like, you could find yourself in those situations. The best way to get through this 10th house, people, is to be authentic. How do you know what your authentic self is? Go inside your innermost part. What keeps me safe? What makes me secure emotionally? What makes me safe emotionally? Who am I deep inside? You don't need to show them that. You just need to be that and be authentic. Okay? Because that is going to be questioned. How you did it, what you did, but all of that is going to be questioned in that 10th house. Okay? So you people that have Aquarius in the 10th house, that's going to be questioned until you step in your power and be your authentic self and say, I did this because. What are you talking about? I am this because I studied this. I've done this. I had this experience. I blah, 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 blah. Like, when you can step into your power and understand that, Pluto will no longer mess with you, right? But you won't even know what that is until you go here. Okay? Does that make sense? You're not going to even know. You're going to see that people are seeing you in the wrong way. You're going to be like, what? Why did they think I'm that? Right? You got to come here. Okay? That's the way you get out of this. That's the way you get through this. That's the way you transmute this. That makes sense? Now, if Aquarius, like now, is in the 11th house, in your 11th house in your natal chart, if Aquarius is in the 11th house, Pluto will be here for the next 19 years. Now, I just had Pluto in my 11th house transit since 2008, but that was Capricorn, right? It's a very different thing. But I can tell you, Pluto is going to be questioning. It's going to have you question. Pluto is going to bring people and places and things in front of you that almost like begin to, where you notice like you're separate, you're disassociating, you're like, wait, I'm not like these people. Wait, what am I doing here? Wait, why do I have these people in my life? Wait, why am I in this group? Wait, I thought social media was one way, but I don't really like that right now. I'm just gonna like you guys know, I completely got off YouTube, right? Because I was like, not doing it, right? It's gonna do that to you. It's gonna make you question that. It's gonna make you question until you understand yourself, your identity, and how you work. First, what groups do you want to belong to? Because you'll understand that you're more powerful in groups. Not that you're not powerful alone, but first you're going to be like, who am I? What am I? What am I doing? And then you're going to be like, okay, I am me. I am not, and me is not part of this group because it used to be what I thought, but that's not who I think now. That's not what I am. So then you'll begin to like, once you find yourself, your groups you'll start attracting the groups again. So you're going to need to be a little bit self-isolating at first as things come up, as people or groups or networking or social media, any of that is going to be questioned. It's going to be, you're almost going to not, if you're not in the right groups, you're going to be like, I don't even know why I'm here. I got to go. Right. If you don't go, let me say this. If you don't go and you feel like you're not part of this group, it's going to be taken. So something will happen and it won't turn out good for you. Because until you understand yourself and how you work alone and in groups, that's where your power is. Your power is in your identity of yourself and understanding how powerful and that you matter in the group. And when you understand that and step into your power, then you will no longer have these confrontations, these betrayals, these lies, these disgusting ways that you don't like that aren't even part of what you believe in. Like all of that is going to be going on until you understand your power. And then that'll be kind of at the end of the transit. Some of you, it'll be a little sooner. Some of you, it'll be a little sooner, right? That's the 11th house. Now, the 12th house, if Aquarius is in your 12th house, Pluto will be transiting your Aquarius for 19 years. Now, this is where I can say specifically for me. Capricorn rules my 12th house. So for me personally, Aquarius starts about here, right? So it's in my 12th house and Aquarius ends about here. Okay. So it's in so Aquarius is my 12th house, first house, right? So it rules my first house. That's what makes me an Aquarius ascending, right? When it's in your 12th house, there is a major transformation that is going to happen about, how do I say this? Your deeper understanding and you'll how do I say this? You're going to have a very deep spiritual experience of emotional healing that you've probably been working through with lifetimes for this. I can say that because the 12th house is the opening to all of past, future, present, right? Lives. So, what you're going to be doing is in the 12th house is there's a lot of healing that's going to be letting go. I mean, there's a lot of healing that's going to be going on, but it's going to teach you. Pluto is trying to help you step into your power of healing. So it's almost like there's fractions of you that you are going to start to remember from your other dimensions, other lives, other existences, right? That were fractured off. And they're gonna come, you're gonna start incorporating those through the 19 years, incorporating those. And what you do is you're going to be letting go and not trying to control and understanding the power of that. The power of, I am okay, I'm fine because I am all these other things and I am powerful, right? Um, what's going to happen is that those other parts of you that you're going to begin to remember, connect with, because that 12th house is going to be open for Pluto. So you're going to begin to remember and start incorporating and integrating into your identity those things that you, it's not like a conscious thing, it's like you're understanding as you're healing. Does that make sense? It's so the 12th house is already hard to explain, but you're going to almost like remember, have dreams of, see a person, have a situation where you're like, I've done this before. I know what to do. Or you have this dream where you're like, this was not a regular dream. I know exactly what I'm doing. I remember being here. This is what I did. This is what made me succeed. This is what helped me. And then you'll understand at some point that those parts have integrated and healed. And it's like you understand yourself as, if I have this situation, I'll know what to do. I don't even have to worry about it anymore. I'm just going to let it go. You'll just learn to let go and flow with life instead of fighting it. Does that make sense? It's like me as all my other lives where I'm a warrior, right? Like it's my natural state to fight. But then you come into this world and you have to fight, 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 fight. And then you make your life where you don't have to fight anymore, but you're still fighting. Does that make sense? And then you'll see it in me. In the next 19, 20 years, you're going to see this in me where I'm like, just let it go. Like, I can give you the example of that second house. Like, that stuff doesn't scare me anymore. It's the thing, like I told you guys, of when Pluto has me, when Pluto makes me afraid, I jump. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just jumping. I don't know where I'm going to land. I know that I'm going to land. I don't even know how I'm going to land, but I know I'm going to land, and I know I'm going to make something of that because I'm not afraid, because I'm going with the flow, because I know innately and remembering from other parts of me that I can succeed and be resourceful and make something of nothing. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, that's the 12th house evolvement that's going to be going on with Pluto. There's no fear. There's no fear. If I don't have any food, I will go get some. If I don't have a place, a roof over my health, a roof over my head, I will make it happen. I will do. And how will I do? I don't know. I just know that when it comes in front of me, all of a sudden I know. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like parts of your fragmented other cells will like come together. That's the best way I can describe that. It's like there's healing going on as that's happening and you're stepping into your power. Where you guys are going to see this for me. And then when that is almost done, I am going to bring that all together and identify. That's when it comes into the first house. My self identity from all those other parts to be in this life. That's why I say a sage is usually born. They all say that. It's not just me. A sage is usually born when it goes from the 12th house to the first house, right? It's like this, just no fear, understanding, knowing your power. Does that make sense? And it's not just me going through. There's going to be people that have 12th house Pluto, right? Does that make sense? You're welcome, Cindy. She said, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I'm just trying to get you like deeper understanding. I know the 12th house is a mystery to a lot of people, and even some astrologers don't understand it completely. I'm a medium, so I get to a little bit deeper. I'm not the only one, but I'm a medium, so I get to like go in a little bit deeper. Um, and here's the thing. I was like, why do I, because I hear that a lot from people that I go deeper than a lot, like my explanations are really deep. And I was like, why is that? Let me see if I can see it on my chart. Well, I was looking at my chart and I was like, oh yeah, my ninth house is Scorpio. So philosophy, modalities, understanding of the spiritual, of the energy, right? So I only know to go deep. Trust me. There have been times where I'm like, I don't want to go so deep. Like, can I just do it? This is back in the day. Not now. Back in the day, I'd be like, why can't I just do a video like other YouTubers do a video where they don't even care about it? They just like do it. I can't do it. I can't surface it. I have to go deep. I have to. And it's because Scorpio's my ninth house, right? I only know to go deep and grab the deepest most intimate understanding. So that's just a little side note in case y'all wonder why I go so deep. That makes sense to everybody. Okay, so that's all the houses. Does anybody have any questions? I know once again nobody is talking except for Cindy. Cindy said something. But does anybody have any questions about the Pluto transiting their houses or anything that I could maybe help with before I get off? I love you, love you, love you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.